when you be on a steady vibration, you actually creating a permanent timeline. And you're going to study how these timelines are fluctuating. They're fluctuating if you lower your emotion, thoughts, and deeds. And when you lower them, depending on the vibration, think of it as a radio signal of a radio. At the moment you lower the vibration and you choose consciously to shift something, you immediately lower the vibration and you're creating on a different frequency, different type of version of yourself, but that becomes a different timeline. And if this timeline is, for example, in a 5 hertz, this timeline could be in a 3 hertz. So they're different because you chose to lower the vibration. Instead to be in the heart is being in the negative. You chose to express yourself in the negative. And now what's happening here? If you're choosing constantly to express yourself, to overtake somebody's consciousness without permission, to manipulate, to steal, to kill, to abuse, in any type of shape and form, you're starting to create a permanent timeline of reality. Because it's fractal. More and more you tune into, more and more you projecting, and you're creating another version of yourself in the negative, and more and more and more, and you eventually create a timeline that if this is in the heart, this becomes only in the negative, and the only thing that you're projecting is only in the negative. So the consciousness that chose through centuries, what's happening here, the consciousness itself has to preserve. It will never extinct itself. And because of that, when it's time for ascension, the way ascension process is right now, consciousness chose to basically ascend through all the platforms, all the realities. It doesn't matter if it's negative or positive. So anybody that chose to be in the positive, they're going to receive for themselves realities and timelines based on their actions, and they're going to be given the choice to go above. For example, if this is 3D reality, they're going to be able to go to 5D reality, 5 dimension, which is a completely different frequency vibration, which is higher than this one, through different type of probabilities depending on how they're acting. So if you accumulated so much of the negative, you cannot naturally go through the structure because you have to clear all the path of the negative accumulation of an energetic field that you end up taking. So you started to create artificial timelines through different technology in order to survive. And because of that, you start taking humans and energetic fields, because the humans were used to sustain the frequency vibration of the timeline that is in the negative. Why? Because the human body is a perfect vessel of vibrational sequences and sound. If you remember the original structure, that's what we created from. So if you tell a consciousness and you put that consciousness in a constant distress, constant manipulation, constant putting videos to put you in a lower vibration of sequences, you are basically sustaining the frequency of the timeline that these negative structures of consciousness exist. And you maintaining them, they're like a parasite, eating from your own energy. So we're talking here energy vibration. And the whole system was created this way. And you cannot blame this type of consciousness because they separated so much from consciousness itself because they think that nothing else exists. The problem here is that they don't realize that they're also part of this one structure of consciousness. So you cannot reject yourself by completely abusing another version of yourself, another human, because that other human that you're seeing is literally another version of yourself. How can you go against yourself? You cannot reject your own structure. And because you're part of consciousness itself, when you chose to do only negative, you are actually going to be sabotage of your higher self. Also exist an infinite probabilities of timelines in a positive. So your higher self will sabotage your negative structure to stop you to go against yourself, because it's ascension of the entire magma of the structure of the universe, of consciousness itself. Not stop the process of consciousness itself because you are also part of that consciousness. And that is why you're going to be sabotaged until the end. And what is going to happen? You're going to continue playing that game because it's not installed from the higher councils, is that reality timeline is also have a virus. And you going to lock yourself like your own prison and absolutely sabotage yourself because it's part of consciousness, cannot continue. And I don't know how is that going to happen and how is that going to occur, but I was told that it's a virus and it's going to be self-extinction. And when this happens and you really go in and lock yourself like that because you wanted to continue with another artificial timeline that you created for yourself, when that happens, the only way that you can do something is by going to consciousness will recycle you back to the 0 point, back to particle. You got to start from the beginning. But what's happening, because consciousness itself is moving in a positive, is moving in a higher level. It's also learning, it's also new evolution for consciousness itself. And the reason is because you are no longer in comparison and you're no longer compatible with the new frequencies that are constantly increasing. And once this new frequency are not compatible with you, is starting absolute separation. And you no longer will be able to look into anything. And the only probability you're going to see, no matter how you look at it and how you want to see it, is only one probability. And they said in every corner, you're going to try and you're going to try and you're going to try, and it's going to keep sabotaging and sabotaging and sabotaging because it's moving to a different frequency and you no longer can sustain that vibration because it's not in your heart structure. The shifting of the timelines is happening from the heart structure. There is the codes for the timelines in the portals. And in order to do that, you have to energetically accumulate positive actions through love and compassion in order to get the portals to open for these timelines. And that's